Hey guys, Stealth here and welcome back to Subcommand. Now, before I kick off this video, I want to let you know that I have turned down the sound effects completely. The game only has 5 levels for these sound effects, and with the constant sonar pinging, the game was really hard to listen to on the video. I've turned it down completely, so this is going to be another test run and see if this is actually worth it, because we might be missing out on quite a few sound effects. Anyway, we're tasked with a port egress, so let's head over to the briefing.
You are directed to leave port to monitor an operational test of a new Russian anti-air missile in the western Barents Sea. Although operational security is important, local surface traffic is heavy. Maintain a radar and visual search for commercial and pleasure craft until clear of Long Island Sound. There is a Russian AGI just outside the 12-mile limit collecting information on U.S. ship movements. If you are detected, then you can expect extra vigilance by Russian forces protecting the missile test and possible additional Russian submarine escorts. The AGI may also vector waiting submarines to intercept your transit and track you to the test area. Your primary goal in this mission is to break out into the open ocean without being tracked. Detecting the Russian AGI or any Russian submarines is a secondary goal. It will provide valuable intelligence, but it's not worth risking the primary goal to achieve these detections. If Russian units are detected, take action to avoid. Do not take offensive action against any ships.
Understood. Get out, don't get detected. Let's go. Now we're going to start our journey on or near the surface. As you can see, there we go. The weather is terrible, but we are currently on the surface and, well, I don't really... I'm happy I'm not on watch in the conning tower, because that would not be a very good day for an operation there. Now we're going to raise the radar mast,
Chief of the watch eye.
and we're going to raise the periscope. And we're going to see what exactly we have operating around us. Again, no sound effects, so we could be seeing or receiving sonar pings and I wouldn't know about it. So far though, everything's quiet. So let's turn the sonar to auto duty.
Con sonar, I have a new contact, bearing 081, designated Sierra 1.
Yeah, that was hard to miss, wasn't it? That's a really, really high sound to noise ratio. Not exactly sure what we're dealing with yet. Anyway, where's my radar? This is the radio. We
Raise
can raise
the
that one
antenna,
too.
Chief of the watch eye.
Here's the radar. Now the radar also has auto crew on duty. You can see that I am currently at a range scale of 60,000 yards, which is quite a lot. I'm really not looking for something that far away, so I'm going to switch that up to 20,000 yards to have a bit more detailed view of what is nearby. We can engage range rings on... there we go. Now we know that the bad guys, or that the AGI, is 12 miles outside of the zone. So let's see, if we use the drawing tools, I could say add area circle.
Goal complete. Continue with your mission.
Okay, so I have probably detected the AGI. Hang on, I think I'm using the wrong orientation point. If this is considered the area where the 12-mile zone starts, I'm going to set up a couple of area circles. So something like that. This one is a bit too sizable, isn't it? Hang on. Drawing tools, add area circle. Range is 12 nautical miles. There. So we are still just inside the nautical zone of the United States. I'm thinking that this radar contact might be our AGI. Current speed, 10 knots. I'm not sure how well he's equipped with sonar. I could already submerge the boat at this point and try to avoid his radar. Depth is only 105 feet though. Let's see, where's it going to drop off quickly? 115. We're definitely not heading east. Make my course, let's see. This is decent, this is 127. Yeah, when we start to go, yeah, pretty much in the direction where the sub's already heading. Now, I'm going to just put her slightly deeper into the water. I'm going to 67 feet, which I believe for the Seawolf is still classed as periscope depth.
7 feet. Dive aye.
Let's see.
Dive, dive.
Okay, in case you weren't awake yet, that should do it. Current
All
depth.
main ballast tank vents are shut.
Okay, so now detection of our ship, boat, correction, is going to be significantly more difficult. Let's do a surface scan. There's the radar, by the way. We're going to do a full sweep of the periscope, because we are ordered to keep visual tracks. Hang on, is that a sailboat? Who goes sailing in weather like this?
All compartments report conditions normal on the dive.
Yeah, I'm thinking that is a sailboat. Come there, 305. Mark, I think we're dealing with just a standard fishing vessel, maybe a trawler, definitely not the AGI. The AGI I'm expecting on the bearing of 156. Or maybe slightly less. Hello, you're close. All clear so far. Alright. Back to the map. I'm currently cruising at 5 knots. It's a bit slow. Let's... I'm not sure if I can go to 10 knots and not start cavitating yet. I don't want to risk that. Because if there is an enemy submarine nearby, then he's gonna get a pretty easy chance at detecting me. Now the problem that I have is that I'm so low, and the seabed is so low that I cannot use the streamed array yet, or the towed array. So I'm gonna have to wait for that.
Lower the antenna. Chief of the watch eye.
Actually, no,
Raise
keep the antenna
Chief
raised.
of the watch eye. Lower the antenna. Chief of the watch eye.
No, dude.
Raise the antenna. Chief of the watch eye.
Sorry, Chief. I'm not messing with you here. I want to keep this thing up in case we get some additional information about where that AGI might be. Now, this guy is identified. That was loud. It's either RO5 or RO3, so that's Romeo 5 or Romeo 3, which is the AGI. I'm thinking it might be Romeo 5. And, of course, this guy is going to be pretty much directly in my way. Now, I could head east slightly and try to avoid detection by coming around or potentially to the rear of this AGI. Or I could head directly south, where it starts to get deep pretty quickly, and then hopefully get to my egress zone, the release location. Let's speed up time a little bit so we can get a bit more distance in. Romeo 5 is still 17,000 yards out. He's at a bearing of 123. Let's see if we can pick him up by now, because he might be getting close enough. 1, 2, 3. Gotcha. This is as far as I can zoom in. It's definitely not what we're looking for. Definitely not the AGI. Oh, come on, you really? apparently the game is not really letting me register the fact that there is a ship here. Normally Mark actually marks it on your map, and I mean, yes, it's already there. There we go, now it's a visual track as well, visual source. So now we know for certain that it is there, and we have a pretty good identification. I'm going to set this guy up as a neutral. So you're a neutral. You're a neutral. What was that again? Bearing 307. It's mostly neutral shipping there. Okay, 001, that's a neutral. Oiler. Where was he again? There. Neutral, definitely. Now we can also classify the contact based on what we're looking at. I'd say that this is a surface ship, and we are probably just looking at something that is completely unarmed, probably a trawler or a cargo vessel. Might be an oiler. Never mind. Right, we have 40 feet below the keel, which is still really, really low. It's definitely not enough to continue my dive. It's going to continue to go down. 125 feet, 130 feet. At this point, I'm pretty confident about the contacts that are nearby, so I'm
Lower the radar mast.
lower the
Keep
radar
the
mast.
watch eye.
Because now we're going under MCON. I do not want to be sending out any emissions anymore. Because either this guy, but I think it's this, Romeo 3, because Master 3 has been identified as a neutral ship. This guy is the one we're looking for. This guy is the one who's going to be quite literally in the way between me and my release location. And then we have the submarine to contend with. I'm going to start a course correction. I'm going to head to course 090, increase speed to 8 knots.
Come left to course 0. Make turns for
Recommend
80.
lowering all
L9.
masts and antennas, sir. Recommend lowering
Yeah,
all
you're
masts and antennas, sir. Lower the antenna. Chief of the watch eye.
This is not the first time that I would be breaking off my masts and antennas. And it would be a really bad start of the mission. Alright, so the scope should be down. Scope's down, radio's down. Stream the floating wire. Normally you would get a sound effect for this, but that's the thing that I turned off, because it also impacts the sonar pings. Now let's add another 10 feet. So
Make
we're
my depth
completely
077
submerged.
feet. Dive aye.
Master 3 is coming quite close.
Con sonar. I have a new contact. Bearing 143. Designated Sierra 2.
Yeah, that's awfully unlikely. We're not dealing with a mini-sub. We know that that's a surface ship. So why the game suddenly decides to identify it as a ship, as mini-submarine? I don't know, but its identification is definitely wrong. Now let's see how close I'm getting to this guy. So we're going to say add range circle. Let's say I'd want to steer at least 7 nautical miles away from this guy. I'm not sure at what range he can detect me. And I'm not too eager to find out. So let's just keep him well at bay. And hope that the Sea Wolf lives up to its legendary silentness, its stealthiness. By the way, what I'm floating here is the radio wire, so I can still detect radio or receive radio messages. depth is steady at 115 feet. These engines are just still very, very loud. Okay. He is continuing to head west, I'm continuing to head east. I'm definitely not going to be escaping towards the north, because it's way too shallow here. I wouldn't even be able to maneuver submerged, which is going to make his detection pretty easy, because he can basically look out of the window and detect me.
Con Sonar, I have a new contact. Bearing 161. Designated Sierra 3.
I'm going to say that Sierra 3 and Romeo 3 are probably the same unit. Because Sierra 3 is still jumping all over the place. Now I believe I can merge these. But I'm going to let the game figure it out for now. Let's see. We're just going to continue on slowly. And hope that we're not immediately sailing into the sonar array of that submarine that might still be operating to our east. I mean, we still haven't found its location. And I believe what happens if you actually do identify it or track it in the first mission is that it's going to get chased off by P3 Orions. So it's getting chased off, and then you don't have to worry about the submarine, you just have to worry about the AGI, and that means a little bit less concern. Now, considering there's no time restraint on this mission, I'm just going to continue to sail at 8 knots. I do not need any speed here. Unless this guy suddenly decides to turn around. Which I really don't hope. Now, my information about Romeo 3 is very much outdated. It's 1 hour old. Because I only detected the guy on radar. So this is his track if he was heading in the same direction all the time. And I'm not sure about that, so we're going to slow down and see if we can pick him up.
Make turns for 4 knots. Maneuvering aye.
Show my history. Sorry about the engines. This should clear up the sonar array at least a little bit. Now I'm blind to about, what is that, 240 to 300, because that's where my ship is pointing. Sorry, that's the aft of the ship. That's right there. At 4 knots it's going to be really tough to detect this boat. Make a slight course correction. I want my course to be 110.
Come right to course 110. Helm aye.
Just going to continue to dance around Romeo 3. At some point though, if my initial range circles were accurate, he's going to have to change course, or he risks running into the 12-mile zone for the US. Which I don't think is where you'd really want a Russian boat to be. If you were in command of the Russian boat. Now, I wonder why at this point my entire array... Oh, there we go. What do we have here?
Con Sonar, I have a new contact. Bearing 225. Designated Sierra.
That might be our mini submarine. dancing in the dark. Let's see. Now I could stream the towed array a little bit and make sure that it's not dragging along the seabed, because that's really not good for the towed array and it doesn't allow me to pick up anything. I'm not sure if it's going to work. So let's see.
Stream the starboard towed array. Helm aye.
Now, immediately the towed array is going to start picking up stuff, but not really good, as you can see. Because this is the towed array. And the towed array is pretty much blind at this point, because it is too close to the sound of my propeller. So I'm going to see if we can clear it up a bit. There we go, we got a solid track. And no, it's not working, because this means it's on the sea bottom. So we're just going to
retrieve the starboard towed array. Helm aye.
It's no use yet. Auto crew on duty. Switch back to the spherical array. Now, at this point my track is almost 2 hours old. If that AGI is still nearby, then I really, really want to find him. Because if he just turned around like 90 minutes ago, he could be heading exactly in my direction. Which would really be a poor development for me. So I'm going to make a pretty sharp course correction to 190.
Come right to course 190. Helm aye.
And see if we can figure out where this guy went. Without being on the surface, that is. Now, as my sonar crew is on duty... By the way, this is my course change. You can see it here. I'm going to take the auto crew off duty and just manually, very gradually, go through the sonar waterfall. And I'm checking this, the sound to noise ratio. The ocean is always noisy. There's always something going on. But there are some sounds that are definitely not ocean-made, as it were. Sounds that are man-made, such as this. So if the sound to noise ratio is way too high for a normal contact, then you have a pretty good chance that you're dealing with something that's man-made, such as a propeller that is attached to a submarine, a surface ship, or something of the likes. And humans are usually more... Hello. There's a spike there. Sound to noise ratio just jumped to 9. What is that, bearing 318? It's not where I'm expecting the contact to be. At all. But there's definitely off something to 318. 318. That's due north and then there-ish. It's not this guy. He's at his 270. Now we definitely have a large spike around bearing 274. Of course, we're blind to our aft. Nothing there. How about the hull-mounted sonar? Now there's two separate sonar arrays that I'm using. I have the sphere. This is the one that's on... where's my ship? Here we go. The spherical array is the one in, well, you might be calling the nose cone of the boat. The hull array is, I believe, these tiles that you can see attached to the side bottom of the ship. So those are the hull arrays, and you can see that the sphere array is slightly less noisy than the hull array, because the hull arrays are just generally a little bit less effective. What I'm looking for now is just scrolling through this spectrum and looking for spikes to come up here. just like the one over there. We can see these two lines. And based on these two lines, we can say, okay, what might this be? What might we be looking at? And it could be a yacht, could be a DSRV. I rather doubt that. That's a deep submersible rescue vehicle. So this is something that is, well, rather unique in the sense that it's sent to submarines in case they are there, in case they're in trouble. Which is really unlikely to be just found off the coast of Connecticut. I don't think it's a powerboat. And apparently, according to the filter, that's all that really applies. So it might very well be a yacht, because we did see one. Alright, let's continue with the autocrew. We really need to find something about these engines, because this is getting way, way noisy. At this point, Master 3 is getting quite close. And I'm actually quite happy about this guy getting close. Because I'm quite confident that I am deep enough, and actually I can go a bit deeper, that we don't risk a collision.
Make my depth 0.8.
But he's moving at a speed of 20 knots, which means it's pretty likely that we are dealing with a powerboat, not a yacht here. Powerboats have really powerful engines, and powerboats tend to be really bloody noisy. So I hope to be able to obscure my own sound profile by sticking quite close to this guy, although he is at 6,000 yards out, but anything that is detecting from over here is going to have a really hard time finding me behind the sound profile of this guy. Basically like you're trying to find a person in a room and there's someone standing between you and the person you're trying to find. It's a line of sight obstruction, but then underwater. Or at least that's my understanding of it. And this guy is just cruising around. Changed his course. He's now on a course of 286. Again 20 knots. Master 2. Master 2 track is really old. Really, really old. 2.5 hours. We only got him on the visual and the radar. So he might still be heading there. But for all we know, he's completely somewhere else. That's the risk of not checking your submarine or your contacts often enough. And you can see the autocrew doing basically the same thing I was doing, just slowly checking the sonar waterfall for changes in sound to noise ratios. We're going to again make a sharp course change. This time I want to take a leg towards, let's say, 250. Yeah, 250. Come right to course 250.
Hell my.
I want to see if I can pick this guy up again. And we are getting quite to deeper waters at this point. Which is good news for me, because I can now maneuver at 100 feet.
Make my depth 100
Stream the
feet.
starboard towed array. Hell my.
I'm going to stream the starboard towed array a little bit. And then hope that this time around we're not going to get a blown out towed array. Which by the looks of it seems to be working. We're still very, very slowly moving along at 4 knots.
Stream the starboard towed array. Hell my.
There we go. Okay, that was too much.
Retrieve the starboard towed array. Hell my.
At least now we have an extra sensor. And this extra sensor is going to potentially help us to detect the enemy submarine. Now I have not taken the most direct course to my my release location there to the south.
Con sonar. I have a new contact. Bearing 220. Designated Sierra 5.
220. Hang on, this is 180, so we're... 220? That's not this guy. Sonar, come again? 220? chasing ghosts, buddy. There's nothing at 220. Nothing at all. We still have this tracker over here for Master 1. So far, it's really quiet on the spherical array. Toad array, same deal. Really quiet. Interestingly. I am heading to slightly less deep waters, so I want to make a course correction again. I'm gonna come left to course 150.
Come left to course 150. Hell my.
So we should be heading in about this direction. Getting closer to our release location. Master 3's been picked up again. Hang on, what are you? There's a track ever so slightly. You can see the line coming up there. That's the toad array changing direction. No sound to noise jumps. Nothing.
Stream the starboard toad array. Hell my.
I'm going to stream it a bit more, because now I have another 54 feet below the keel. I'm going to see if this is going to help me to get the toad array a bit more accurate. Nothing so far. How deep is it here? 195 feet. Currently we're at 158 feet. Or at least that's how deep it is. I'm gonna feel happy when I have about 200 to 300 feet depth. So at least I can start to speed up without making too much noise. And we do have 2 sonar tracks here, but the auto crew has not found it useful to identify them yet.
Con Sonar, I have a new contact. Bearing 256. Designated Sierra 6.
Could be Master 3. Yep. I just find his identification ridiculous. We're gonna work on that. Select display. At this point it can no longer be anything different than a yacht. So we're going to say that this thing is not a mini sub. Sorry about the noise. Oh, better. Okay, that's a yacht. Bloody hell, these engines though. Sound. 3D sound disabled. At this point we're playing the game pretty much on dead quiet. All sound effects turned off. Which is sad really, because the game has quite something to offer there. Now let's see if we can track something else using the sphere. Nothing. Toad array really has some good bearings here, and as you can see these things are mirrored. This is the one that's actually there, this is the one that's the mirror image of it. And considering that you can see that in the second bottom part of the screen, the track is becoming wider, it means it's becoming louder. And louder means that the thing is getting closer, generally, or just making more noise. Nobody's pinging away at me, that's good news, and we have no layer, I believe. Considering another zigzag. Or at least another zag. If you're still watching at this point, congratulations, because so far absolutely nothing has happened yet. All I'm doing is trying to avoid detection. And so far it seems to be working. Otherwise I'd be getting a message from the game saying you've been counter-detected. Now at this point the sphere has also picked up the contact bearing 220. Considering that he's shifting left, that means that he's moving away. Or at least, there we go, he's changing course again. We're looking at... Who are you again? Master 3. So Master 3, with his yacht, is potentially in a course change. Alright, let's make another course correction. We're gonna head to 230.
Come right to course 230. Hell my.
So I'm gonna continue my zigzag pattern here. And just continue to look out for enemy contacts. Or at least contacts in general, but enemy mostly. Hang on, what is that? You see that line? I don't like that line. But the game is not letting me put a tracker on it, which means that the game considers that it's not actually there. Stream the
starboard towed array. Hell my.
Shit, too much.
Retrieve the starboard towed array. Hell my.
It's been a trial and error with the towed array at this point. Who are you?
Con Sonar, I have a new contact. Bearing 203. Designated Sierra 7.
That must be this guy. That had better not be the AGI. That had seriously better not be the AGI. Otherwise he is awfully close. This just got interesting. Display signature. At the moment, we don't have enough. Not on the sphere. How about the towed array? Towed array is of course blind, because we are heading in the wrong direction for the towed array. The towed array is definitely more capable than the sphere to identify this guy. If I want to use the towed array, I'm going to have to make another course change west, which reduces my depth, or at least a little bit. Damn it. I could head east, but that means I'm heading away from my objective. Give me the sphere. Narrowband sonar really doesn't have him yet. Where is this guy? Hull? No, Hull's blind in these areas. Continue on our course. For all we know, we're just dealing with a merchant. I mean, I really bloody hope that I'm dealing with a merchant. At this point, the towed array might be able to pick him up. Definitely getting some spikes here. What are we dealing with here?
Con Sonar, I have a new contact. Bearing 280. Designated Sierra 8.
There's another one there. This is... What is this? That's the yacht. These are the mirror patterns. This guy is coming up on 180, which is
Con Sonar, I have a new contact.
pretty much where I expect him to be.
177, designated Sierra 9.
Come on, buddy, where are you at? 180. He should not really be at 180. He should be 171. Now, in case you're wondering why I'm not tracking these two patterns, it's because they're the mirror image. This one has this one as a mirror, and same goes for that one. How that exactly works, I don't really know, to be honest. I just know that you can pretty safely ignore half of the tracks, and the reason, or the way that you figure out which track you can safely ignore is by making course changes. And then you should be able to hear the thing on the same bearing, otherwise it is not there, if that makes sense. Probably doesn't. Okay, let me try again. I have this one. He's at a bearing of 149. If I change direction of my submarine, then he should not make a drastic course change, unless he's tracking me and going directly for me, but that's rare. So, if he's not making a drastic course change, and this one, for example, does start to deviate quite a lot, then that means that this one is fake. This one is the mirror image that we're picking up. So that one, which still remains at a cursor bearing of 150, that is the real contact. Now let's just suggest that this guy is indeed a yacht. I don't like that at all. The passive sonar, the narrow band, is identifying this thing sheerly as a Vishnya. Classify contact. What the hell is a Vishnya? There we go. AGI, Russian intelligence collectors. Not good. They're very, very little in armament. Sonar, hull-mounted sonar array, and they have a dipping sonar. That's interesting. Endurance, 45 days, 146 crew. So, we are potentially right on top of the AGI. This means that he might have detected me. I mean, we're not quite sure yet. Classify. Vishnya. Assumed threat. Confidence medium. His course is 30. He's coming for me, damn it. We've been counter detected. I have detected the AGI, so that's good. Counter detected incomplete. That's good. Otherwise, it would say counter detected complete. So he does not quite know where I am yet. Despite the fact that he's really bloody close.
Make my depth 130 feet. Dive I.
I'm gonna get a little deeper. This might mess up my towed array. So just to be sure, I'm gonna
Retrieve the starboard towed
get
array.
that thing a
Helm on.
little bit closer. And I hope that at 4 knots, Seawolf is so quiet that the hull-mounted sonar on that AGI will not detect me. Of course, I can't be sure. And I hope that this guy is not actually where he seems to be. Active duty. I'm gonna try and dance around him.
Come left to course 090. Hell my.
He's at 1,200 yards. Oh, Jesus. If he detects me, the next mission is going to be significantly more complicated, because then we'll be seeing additional surface ships being on the lookout for me. Come on, buddy, want a party? His speed is also 4 knots. Let's see if the legendary silence of Seawolf works. Talking of which, Seawolf, I believe, this is one of those legends of this boat. When the Seawolf was tasked with going through the testing area, this is an area where they have all sorts of hydrophones listening for submarines, trying to establish a sonar profile. When the boat was tasked to go through that area, at some point they got a radio message from one of the operators from the testing area, and they said, okay, have you passed yet? Where are you? We're still waiting for you. And Seawolf replied, we've already passed. We've already been there.
Come right to course 180.
And they were just completely undetected. Now we're still picking this guy up. He's at 10 knots. At this point, at 4 knots, we're still heading south. What array is that? Shit, that's the towed array. Oh, we completely retracted the towed array.
Hell my.
That was not what I had in mind. I don't have a lot of depth below the keel, just 30 feet. So this might already be too much. Yeah, it's too much.
Retrieve the starboard towed array. Hell
Hold.
my.
That will do. At least now we can hear something. Albeit still very little. We still have him on the sphere and the towed array. I wonder if we can still find that enemy submarine that might be hiding out here somewhere. Get the autocrow off duty. Nothing so far. That's... yeah, that's him. That's Master 4. That's a different one. This guy has a really low sound to noise ratio. That is, if he's there. I mean, I can barely pick this guy up.
Con Sonar, I have a new contact. Bearing 043.
No, it's
Designated
not actually a contact
Sierra
because the game's not letting me
10.
detect it. We're already tracking this guy. That's Master 4. Come on, let's just get to the release zone. He seems to be still heading away from me at 4 knots. If I was not counter-detected, then this is a testament to how quiet this boat can be. Depth is nicely going down here at the release location. I don't believe that we have to be there at any specific point in time. You proceed for transit after proceeding submerged at a depth of greater than 100 feet within 2 nautical miles of the release point located at coordinates. Roger that. Sphere doesn't have anything, the towed array doesn't have anything. I'm mostly looking at this window now to see if there's any changes in patterns. because this is the short range one. He's coming around. Definitely on patrol here. 6 knots. Bearing error is still 33%, so we don't know exactly where he is, but the more information we're getting off of this guy, the better. Now I'm going to do something that might be counterintuitive. I'm going to make a course for 909. So I'll make
Come
a
left
port
to
turn.
course 090. Hell my.
I want to see, and especially hear, if there's anything else in the area. Wait one. There's something here. You see that very, very faint line? I don't trust that line. Now I cannot do this for too long, because if that AGI comes back at a greater speed than I am, then he can still detect me. So we're just going to do this for a couple of minutes. We don't detect anything, we move on. Alright, I'm happy. Let's turn to 180.
Come right to course 180. Hell my.
Depth below the keel, 38 feet. And it's quickly getting more as we head further south. You can see that down here at the bottom left side of the screen, which is depth. That's not my depth, that's the depth of the ocean here. I'm not technically sure if this is the ocean. I mean, this is the Atlantic Ocean, that's for damn sure. Depth, 10,000 feet. That'd be a bit too much for my submarine to survive. Now the towed array so far is not really getting anything, at least not short term. Long term, we still have these guys. And they're getting noisier. Significantly so. Look at that line. Wow. Is that our AGI friend? By any chance? Oh, it's a yacht. Okay. Wasn't expecting that. Alright, clear. So, hang on. Is Master 4 in fact what we're looking for? Because if we're wrong about this thing, then the AGI might still be out there. I should be seeing him at a bearing 335. He should be here. On the towed array. Dances in the dark, I'm telling you. Alright, still approaching the freedom point. Now this is something that I was getting worried about with these videos, is that they just turn too long. I mean, this thing is running for 55 minutes near enough. So if you're still here, thank you for your effort. This bloody boat just keeps following me around. It might be slightly changing. make course 245. That should
Come
put us
right to
closer
course
to
2,
the zone.
4, 5, Helmi.
As well as allow us to listen in on some other contacts that might be there. That's the own ship. It's going to disappear really quickly. At this point we can stream a bit more of the
Stream the
array.
starboard towed array, Helmi.
That was too much.
Retrieve the starboard towed array, Helmi.
You can immediately see on the longer history that we have a big, big blob there. And at this point, I'm not sure what's going on at this point. Oh,
Stream the starboard towed array, Helmi.
I didn't press stop in time. That's what's going on. There we go. Towed array's back online. Sphere, clear, towed, clear. At this point he's 14,000 yards away, so if that is him, I have safely avoided the guy. Yet, I am not going to speed up. I will change my course a little bit more, so we're heading directly for the release location.
2, 5, Helmi.
But I will not be speeding up. I'm going to stick to my guns that this is a pretty much slightly lighter area than everywhere else. Let's see if the longer term sonar agrees with me. Time bottom, intermittent time. I could switch it to long term. Nothing.
Stream the starboard towed array, Helmi.
Still getting away with it.
Stream the starboard towed array, Helmi.
Still
Stream the starboard towed array, Helmi.
not anymore.
Retrieve the starboard towed array, Helmi.
There we go. Auto crew. And we are almost where we want to be. It took us a long time. But we finally made it there. Hopefully without being detected by either the submarine or the AGI. And I'm still not 100% that Master 4 is the AGI that we're looking for. It might be. And once I get here and I have a mission complete, I'm going to switch to truth so we can see exactly what's going on and who's where. Come left to course 200.
Come left to course 200, Helmi.
Now in case you're wondering about that lingo, come left to course, it means that you want to make a left turn towards the new course. I could say if I'm currently at, let's say, 200 course and want to head to 180, I could say come right to course, which would be a bit confusing, but it would make a complete right turn. So it would make a complete spectrum turn and then head south. The more likely option is to come left to course, and that way you'd have far less distance to travel. But you might say, well, I actually want to make a full course change to see if there's anything behind me. And we are in the release location, so we should be getting close to where the game wants us to be. Within 2 nautical miles or something? Is that not what they said in the briefing? Within 2 nautical miles of the release point. So we're getting there. Eventually. Sphere and total clear. Alright. That should just about do it.
Come left to course 1. Make turns for 5 knots. Helmi. Maneuvering eye.
Nothing on the radio. Nothing on sonar. And here we are, 1 hour in. Lots and lots and lots of time acceleration, but it seems that we finally made it to where we want to go.
Mission accomplished. Report for debrief.
Alright, mission accomplished. Now let's see. I have made it to the release point. I have detected the AGI. I have not detected the Akula, and I have not been counter-detected. So now we're going to see if this is accurate. If this Master 4 is indeed the Vishnya. Layers, show truth. It definitely was. The Vishnya is the one that we passed pretty close. We show his history? Yep. We pretty much passed right underneath that guy. And we have the enemy submarine, the Akula 2, on... what is that? Basically 300, I think. So he was way too far there. But together, they were putting out quite an effective search net for me. And just slowly crawling up on this thing at 4 knots was able to not get detected. So, let me know what your thoughts are on this video. Really, really long. So if you made it all the way through, congratulations. And if you did, then be sure to post a comment saying I made it, so that I know exactly who was able to get through the entire video. As I've mentioned before, Subcommand is not the most exciting game action-wise. It's not like you're constantly firing off your weapons like you are in Cold Waters. But it can be more exciting, it can be more thriller-like, trying to keep an eye on contacts, not get detected, while in fact counter-detecting the enemy. So really, really enjoyed this mission, as long as it took. Thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comments, and I'll see you soon for more videos.